Welcome to VLearn online classes. Subject MCS 35 Financial Accounting. Block 1 Unit 1 Accounting and its function. Yes, good afternoon. I think you are Manisha. Are you audible? Hello Manisha, are you audible? Please write something. Okay. So it's a topic first. Introduction of financial accounting, objectives, why it is important to study, then the scope of accounting, emerging role of accounting, accounting as an information system, the role and activities of an accountant, then accounting personnel, that means the persons who is appointed in the work or in the field of accounting, the nature of the accounting function, the organization for accounting and financing. It is a kind of chart as per the hierarchy. Okay Manisha, I am taking care about that. Now once again, I am speaking about the topics that is covered in this class. One is introduction of accounting, then objectives of accounting, after that the scope of accounting, then the emerging role of accounting, accounting as an information system, the role and activities of accounting, accounting personnel, the nature of accounting function, the organizations for accounting and finance. Is it right? And our introduction in broad. Accounting is often called the language of business. The basic functions of any language is to serve as a means of communication about the transactions that is carried by the organization. It is a language for communicating the fact of transaction. According to one commonly accepted definition, accounting is the art of recording, classifying and summarizing in a significant manner and in terms of money. That means all transactions are expressed in terms of money, transactions and events which are in part at least of financial character and interpreting the results thereof. This definition is first given by ICMA London. After that, Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, 1949. Then scope of accounting, where it is used, data creations and collection, scope of historic as well as predictive, at first data recording, accounting method, then accounting theory, after that data evaluation, performance analysis, fund flow analysis and internal auditing. Now emerging role. Stewardship accounting. In earlier times in history, wealthy people employed stewards to manage their property. These steward rendered an account of their stewardship to their owner periodically. This notion lies at the root of financial reporting even today, which essentially involves the orderly recording of business transactions, commonly known as bookkeeping. In previous year or in long period of time, accounting is not like as a art, but it is a mathematics to recording something in a systematic manner, but not in double entry systems. Most of people's or organization small in nature, they were working on the single entry systems, and now we are discussing about the double entry system. And double entry system, what about the double entry system? Double entry systems means whenever the transactions is recorded in two different places, that is called double entry system. So financial accounting dates from the development of large scale business and the advent of the joint stock company. This forms of business which enables the public to participate in providing capital and returns for share in the assets and profit of the company. This forms of business organization permits a limit to the liability of their members to the normal value of their shares. And now another branch of accounting is called cost accounting. The Industrial Revolution in England presented a challenge to the development of accounting as a tool of industrial management. Costing techniques were developed as a guide to management action. So costing, in other words, we can say that costing means accounting in which we want to determine per unit cost of production. Actually, cost accounting is a branch of accounting where we want to reduce the cost to get more benefit. So it is a cost accounting. Then management accounting. The advent of management accounting was the next logical steps in the development process. The practices of the using accounting information as a direct aid to management is a phenomenon of 20th century, particularly the last 30 to 40 years. Management accounting is actually the accounting of policies that is implemented by the management, that is accounting of decision making, that is implemented by the organization to get the benefits, by which the organization or management can continue it or drop out. So it is all about the management accounting. And now social responsibility accounting, it is also latest terms of accounting. Social responsibility accounting is a new phase in the development of accounting. Okay Manisha, you can take 5 minutes break. Okay Manisha, thank you. And now we are discussing about the social responsibility accounting. Social responsibility accounting is a new phase in the development of accounting and owes its birth to increase social awareness, which has been particularly noticeable over the last 2 decades or so. Social responsibility accounting widens the scope of accounting by considering the social effect of business decision in addition to the economic effects. As you know that the society is a very important factor or element to influencing the business industries. Therefore, every organization prepare a social responsibility accounting toward the society, because it is a liability of the business organization to make a welfare to the society by which the members of society can understand about the functions and the product of the organization. So recently Government of India has allowed to large scale companies to providing 2% of their profit to the social responsibility. That is known as CSR, social corporate responsibility. So social accounting is necessary to keep the organization for the purpose to upgradations and development of the business organization. And after that, human resource accounting. Way back in 1964, the first attempt to include figures on human capital and balance sheet was made by Harmanson, which later came to the known as human resource accounting. However, there has been a great socio-economic shift in 1990. With the emergence of the knowledge of economy, a distinctive shift towards recognition of human and intellectual capital in contrast to physical capital. So human resource accounting in all over means it is an accounting of those people who are working into the organization and they have different skills and they are also having the knowledge and valuable ideas to development of the business. So organization prepare their accounting by using different bases for the purpose of their appraisals and all, and it is about the human resource accounting. Accounting as a social science can be viewed as an information system since it has all the features of system. It has its inputs, raw data, process, man and equipment, and output reports and information. So there are several groups of people who have stake in a business organization like managers, shareholders, creditors, employees, customers, etc. Additionally, the community at large has economic and social interest in the activities of such organization. And now, role and activity of an accountant. At first, number one activity is an accountant is one who is engaged in accounts keeping or bookkeeping. Second, an accountant is a functionary who aids control over entire accounting function. Third one, an accountant keeps the conscience of an organization. An accountant is a professional whose primary duties are concerned with information management for internal and external use. An accountant is a fiscal advisor. Another role is the accountant produces an income statement and balance sheet for an accounting period and maintain all supporting evidence and classified facts that lead to the final accounting statement. An accountant verifies, authenticates and certifies the accounts of an entity. So these are the role of accounting. After that, accounting personnel. There is hardly any organization which does not have an accountant in today's scenario. His role is all pervasive and he is involved in a wide range of activities, particularly in a large and complex organization. The exact duties of an accountant might differ in different organizations. However, a broad spectrum of responsibilities can be identified. The accountants can be broadly divided into two categories: those who are in public practices and those who are in private employment. Now, nature of accounting function. Accounting is a service function. The chief accounting executive, by whatever name he is called, hold a staff positions except within his own department where he exerts authority. This is in contradictions to the roles played by production or marketing executives who hold line authority. The role of the accountant is advisory in character. He or she has worked through the authority of the chief executive. The accounts and/or finance department do not exercise direct authority over line departments. In decentralized structure with a number of units and divisions, the accounting executive, however, exercises what is known as the functional authority over all the accounting staff developed in different segments. And now, organization chart or the organization for accounting and finance. And this is the chart, or it is also known as the organization chart or organization structure, in which the head of accounting are called director finance. After that, into the below categories, general manager finance. Under the general manager finance, there are so many DGM, that means deputy general manager, like DGM system and data processing, DGM accounting, DGM finance, DGM internal audit. After that, every DGM has their SM, that means senior manager accounting, senior manager liaison, work with the government or external auditors, senior manager finance procurement, senior manager tax planning and tax accounting, senior manager payroll accounting, senior manager capital budgeting. And then routine financial audit, senior manager management audit, senior manager cost accounting, senior manager management accounting, senior manager treasury. So it's all about the organization chart. And then we are going to discuss the next session. So please hold only 5 minutes or 2 minutes only. Okay, the topic to be covered in this session are introduction, the accounting framework, accounting concept, the most important topics for your examination point of view. Manisha, please either write down or understanding very conscious. So accounting concept, and the question is asking why university has explained the concept and convention of accounting. Are you audible? Okay, introduction, the accounting framework, accounting concept, accounting standards, the changing nature of generally accepted accounting principle, attempt toward standardization and accounting standard in India. So now, introduction. Any activities that we perform is facilitated if we have a set of rules to guide our efforts. Further, we find that these rules are of more value to be if they are standardized. When we are driving our vehicle, we keep to the left. Without the drivers of vehicles adhering to this rule, there would be much chaos on the road. The accounting framework, according to Hendrickson 1977, accounting theory may be defined as a logical reasoning in the form of a set of broad principles that provides a general frame of reference by which accounting practices can be evaluated, and second is guide the development of new practices and procedures. Accounting theory may also be used to explain existing practices to obtain a better understanding of them. But the most important goal of accounting theory should be to provide a coherent set of logical principles that form the general frame of references for the evaluation and development of sound accounting practices. So there are the necessary assumptions or conditions upon which accounting is based, Accounting concepts are postulates, assumptions or conditions upon which accounting records and statements are based. The various accounting concepts are as follows. Number one, entity concept, the most important concept of business entity. For accounting purpose, the business is treated as a separate entity from the proprietors. The entity concept is also known as separate entity concept or accounting entity concept. One can sell goods to himself, but all the transactions are recorded in the book of the business. This concept helps in keeping private affairs of the proprietor away from business efforts. That is, if a proprietor invests rupees 1 lakh in the business, it is deemed that the proprietor has given rupees 1 lakh to the business, and it is shown as a liability in the book of business. Similarly, if the proprietor withdraws rupees 10,000 from the business, it is charged to them. So after discussing about the examples, in the form of summary, entity concept means the owners is distinguished from the business. Owners is treated as the artificial person, business is treated as the artificial person, and owners is treated as natural person. And any amount which is invested by the owners into the organization, that is treated as the liability of the organization. Therefore, in accounting equation, we have clarified it in the symbolical form like assets equal to capital plus liability. So capital is added with the liability, that means capital is also a form of capital. If any amount withdrawn by the proprietor from the business, that amount should be deducted from his or her capital as a drawing. So we can say that owners and firm both are separate to each other. And next is dual aspect concept. As per this concept, every business transaction has dual effect. For example, if Ram start business with cash rupees 1 lakh, there are two aspects of the transactions: assets account and capital accounts. That means firm has or receive the cash, and cash is assets, and the Ram invested or investor, capital account is used in place of investor. So the business gets assets cash 1 lakh, and on the other hand the business owes rupees 1 lakh to Ram. That means it is a liability of the business to pay rupees 1 lakh to Ram after some period of time. So as this example, we can say that every transaction has double effect. One side it is increased and other side it is decreased. Therefore every transactions are recorded in two different places into the book of accounting. One is called debit transaction, another is called credit transaction. So dual aspect means transactions are entered into different place into the book of accounts. And now third one is going business concept or continuous of activity, and it is also known as going concern assumption. It is assumed that the business concern will continue for a fairly long time unless and until has entered into a state of liquidation. It is as per this assumption that the accountant does not take into account the forced scale values of the assets while valuing them. In other words, we can say that under the going concern assumption, it is assumed while the preparations of accounting that the business organization will continue or is going for long period of time. Whether it is closed tomorrow, the accounting framework, according to Hendrickson 1977, accounting theory may be defined as logical reasoning in the form of a set of broad principles that First, provide a general frame of reference. Okay. Accounting theory may also be used to explain existing practices to obtain a better understanding of them, but the most important goal of accounting theory should be to provide a coherent set of logical principles that forms the general frame of reference of the evaluation and development of sound accounting practices. So, there are the necessary assumptions or conditions upon which accounting is based. Accounting concepts are postulates, assumptions or conditions upon which accounting records and statements are based. The various accounting concepts are as follows. Number 1, entity concept or separate entity concept. For accounting purpose, the business is treated as a separate entity from the proprietors. One can sell goods to himself, but all the transactions are recorded in the book of business. This concept helps in keeping private affairs of the proprietor away from the business affairs. That is, if a proprietor invests rupees 1 lakh in the business, it is deemed that the proprietor has given rupees 1 lakh to the business, and it is shown as a liability in the book of business. Similarly, if the proprietor withdraws rupees 10,000 from the business, it is charged to them. In the form of summary, we can say that separate entity means the owners and business are distinguished to each other. Both are treated as separate person. Business is treated as artificial person, whereas owners is treated as natural person. If any amount withdrawn by the owners or proprietor from the business, that is deducted from the capital invested by his or her. And now, second concept, dual aspect concept. As per the concept, every business transaction has a dual effect. For example, if Ram start business with cash rupees 1 lakh, there are two aspects of the transaction. The first aspect is assets account and another aspect is capital account. The business gets assets, cash rupees 1 lakh, and on the other hand, the business owes rupees 1 lakh to Ram. That means if the proprietor invested rupees 1 lakh into the business organization, then business receives the cash, that is called assets, and also having a liability of rupees 1 lakh simultaneously. So we can say that every transaction has double effect. One side it is increases and other side it is decreases. Therefore, every transaction is recorded in the book of accounts in two different places. One is called debit and another is called credit. And our third concept, going business concept or continuity of the activity. It is assumed that business concern will continue for a fairly long time unless and until has entered into a state of liquidation. It is as per this assumption that the accounting does not take into account the forced sale values of assets while valuing them. In summarizing form, the business organization is run for long period of time, even it is closed tomorrow. But at the time of preparations of financial accounts, we keep in mind for these assumptions. Now, money measurement concept. As per this concept, in accounting everything is recorded in terms of money. That means all the transactions are expressed in terms of money, but not quantity or quality. Even though transactions which cannot be expressed in terms of money are not recorded in the books of accounts, even if they are very important or useful for the business. Purchase and sale of goods, payment of expenses and receipt of incomes are monetary transactions which are recorded in the accounting books. However, event like death of an executive, resignation of a manager are such events which cannot be expressed in terms of money, and they are not recorded into the book of accounts. Next one is a cost concept. This concept does not recognize the realizable value, the replacement value or real worth of an assets. Then cost attached concept. This concept is also known as cost merge concept. When a financial goods is produced from the raw material, there are certain process and cost which are involved like labor cost, power and other overheads expenses. These costs have a capacity to merge or attach when they are brought together. So we can say that no any case revenue should not less than the cost at any time, or every cost which is used or which is spent by the owners for processing or to making the final goods, that is added with the cost of production or cost of units. Accounting period concept. An accounting period is the interval of time at the end of which the income statement and financial position statement, balance sheet are prepared to know the results and sources of business. And now accounting standard. A principle that guides and standardizes accounting practices. The generally accepted accounting principle, that is known as GAAP, are a group of accounting standards that are widely accepted as appropriate to the field of accounting. Accounting standards are necessary so that financial statements are meaningful across a wide variety of business. Otherwise, the accounting rules of different companies would make comparative analysis almost impossible. The changing nature of generally accepted accounting principle. Generally accepted accounting principles are usually developed by professional accounting bodies like American Institute of Certified Public Accountant, that is called AICPA, and the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, that is called ICAI. In developing such principles, however, the accounting profession has to reflect the realities of social, economic, legal and political environment in which it operates. Besides academic research, regulatory and tax laws of the government, that is Companies Act 1956, Income Tax 1961, etc. in a large measure influence the formulation of acceptable accounting principle. Stock exchange and other regulatory agencies like Securities and Exchange Board of India (SEBI) have laid down rules for disclosure and the extent of accounting information. And our standardization in UK and USA. Though the Institute of Chartered Accountant in England and Wales began making recommendations since 1942, real progress started with the establishment of the Accounting Statement Committee by the Institute in 1969 in the wake of public criticism of financial reporting methods which permitted diverse practices. Standard at international level. In view of the growth of international trade and multinational enterprises, the need for standardizations at the international level was felt. An international congress of accountants was organized in Sydney. And now accounting standard in India. Indian accounting standard abbreviated at India AS are a set of accounting standard notified by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs which are converged with International Financial Reporting Standard IFRS. These accounting standards are formulated by Accounting Standard Board of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Now, India will have two sets of accounting standard, that is existing accounting standard under Companies Act, Accounting Standard Rules 2006 and IFRS Converged Indian Accounting Standard. And thank you for hearing this session, and our next session